Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to Tryhard Nation. As always, I'm your host, the omegatryhard, and today we have a bit of a different type of video for you guys. If you haven't noticed already, this is not a live commentary like my normal videos. This is me just talking over and giving a commentary over my Grandmaster Gauntlet run. So I did this a day or two ago. I recorded all of the fights, but my phone wasn't cooperating 100%, and to be honest, I'm not 100% confident fighting in front of like an audience to live stream it or anything like that. But I did want to make sure that I recorded all of these videos so that you guys can see what some endgame content looks like, as well as who I used and stuff like that for this challenge, because it was very difficult, but it was actually surprisingly fun, with the exception of a couple fights. So the way that this is going to be is I'm not going to commentate the entire fights. I'm going to comment on like the very beginning, give my tips, tricks, my experience and stuff like that with it, what I think would help you guys the most, and then from there I'm just going to fast forward the rest of the clip. No commentary. If you want to watch the fight, feel free to do that, but it's going to be at 2x speed, just so that this isn't a 3-hour video. And then I'm just going to do that for every different fight. At the beginning here, I'm just going to go over a little bit over what my team comp is, why I chose that team, etc, etc. You'll see the unit cost that each fight has, like my total for the run and stuff like that, at the bottom right of the little graphic where it says the champion that I'm fighting, along with a very quick tip, tooltip, very quick champion options, and then how many like revives and stuff like that I took. So for the Doom, actually before I get into the Doom fight, quick shout out to the MCOC Noob and KT1. I used their guys for a lot of information on the actual fights themselves. I did a couple videos from Karate Mike and Legacy, but for the most part, the MCOC Noob, his guide is super awesome. I'll have it linked in the description below. He has really good graphics on how to farm potions, what the fights are, different options, all that kind of stuff. So I hugely recommend to go watch his video, because that's what I used to prep for this. But yeah, anyways, into the actual fight itself. So Doom is a fairly straightforward fight. He has particle detector or whatever, where you have to use extra large champions or characters that only heavy attack, otherwise you're going to take recoil damage and it's not going to be a fun time. So what I essentially kept doing was I would just keep doing this fight until I could one-shot it, and then that was going to be my run. I one-shot him 2 times before this, just because I was testing options for Terrax, and I wanted to make sure that I was 100% certain that this was the team that I was going to go with. And I ended up going with Apocalypse, Strife, Ghost, Human Torch, and Apocalypse, Strife, and Doom, obviously, Dr. Doom. Yeah. So it's not the 100% ideal team, but Strife gives Apocalypse a huge damage boost, and Apocalypse was going to be my carry for most of this. He can easily one-shot this fight. Other characters that can one-shot them are Archangel, Quake, Immortal Hulk, and Magneto. But who I use is Apocalypse, and as you can see, I got the one-shot here. So from here, we're going to go on to Terrax. And Terrax is one of those fights where you're going to have an answer for him, or you're just going to have a really bad time. So ideally, for this fight, you would want to bring in Namor or a Gladiator Hulk, who can mitigate the degen that you're going to be taking from the rock field. In Namor's case, he can just reflect it, so he's your #1 option for this fight. The only criteria is that he has to be duped, and he has to have max sig level. If you're not going to use Namor, Gladiator Hulk, he reduces the damage. Magic, she can power control him, so that basically he just never activates a special, so that he doesn't activate the rock shield. And then Black Widow Clairvoyant, the reason there's an asterisk there is because she has a cheese method with this, where she can just basically keep looping into the special 3, keep activating her cheat death, and it's just a constant cycle. I'll see if I can post a link to a video in the description, but those are the options for this fight. I didn't have any of those options, so the option that I opted to go with was Dr. Doom, and just doing as much damage as I could in a single revive using my special 3s. It's not the perfect method, but as you can see from the graphic, I was able to get him down in 3 revives, which in my opinion is pretty good. That's about like 40 or 30% per revive, I think. It's a pretty good rate for not having the ideal option, and I would recommend using your potions for this fight. For who else was it? For Domino especially, and who else? Dragonman. If you don't have too many potions, I would say to save all of your potions for these 3 fights, because if you try and revive with a 20 or 40%, the passive damage or block damage is just going to eat away at you, and you're going to end up using more revives than you want to. So even if you don't have a potion stash, I would recommend buying potions to heal all the way up, just so you can get as much as you can out of that revive. But yeah, basically what I'm doing is just using my heavy attack to get rid of the powerful from afar power gain, get rid of the charges, close some or get some distance so I'm not taking the degen damage, and then as he tries to dash in, use the level 2 to get the incinerates off. Just rinsing and repeating that. As you can see, it's not going 100% effectively, but again, I was able to get him down in 3 revives. So I'm going to stop this here. If you want to keep watching the rest of this fight, feel free. It's going to be in 2 times speed. If not, I'm going to go ahead and see you at the next fight. Alright, and here we are at the next fight, which is Vision. So basically the way that he works is he's going to throw specials in order of special 1, special 2, and special 3, and then just keep rinsing and repeating that. So you're going to either have to use a character that can eat special 3s, or that can power control and not let him get to that special 3. So the options are Doom, as you can see me using here, just using normal Doom rotation to make sure he doesn't get to that special 3. You can use Ghost with the Hood synergy, which is why that asterisk is there. You can use Magneto to kill him before he gets to the special 3. You can use Magic to just power control him again. Anybody that can power control, really. That it should be a pretty straightforward fight as long as you have that. If you don't have anybody that does that, or Magneto, then it's going to be a little bit of a rough time. But yeah, very straightforward fight. This was another solo, 2 so far, 2 out of 3. Pretty good. I wasn't expecting to solo either of them as consistently as I did, or as easily as I did, I should say. But yeah, so again, if you want to see the rest of the fight, feel free. It's going to be more of the same, just making sure he doesn't get to that special 3. If not, I will see you in the next fight. Alright, and now we are at MODOK. This is one of those fights that I thought was going to be super easy. I didn't even think about it when prepping the team. I just thought, okay, I'm going to go Apocalypse because he can parry and he'll become immune to the disorient. So it'll just be a very straightforward fight. However, as you're going to see, as you can see from the graphic, it did not go very well. I was playing very greedy, very impatient, trying to see if I could get away with throwing a special without him auto blocking it. There was a couple deaths where I just, as you can see there, I tried to throw a special, he blocked it. Luckily I was able to evade it that time, but that doesn't happen in future deaths. I tried to see if I can get like long range heavy attacks just to try and greed that out. If I could heavy chain him in the corner, see if I could try and greed that out. I was just getting really greedy with this fight. I was really cocky, honestly. Again, like I said, I wasn't thinking about this as a character that would give me any trouble. But yeah, you just have to play smart. This is a pretty easy fight with Apocalypse. Basically any of the good characters that you want for this fight, which are going to be Apocalypse, Archangel, Magneto, Professor X, MVPs for this fight. Any 3 of them, you just have to play smart, play patient, and then it'll be a relatively quick fight. But as you can see here, I was also trying to test to see if maybe I could start building up Strife here, but because of the disorient, it didn't work out that well, and it ended up just costing me Strife for no reason. Yeah, so play smarter than I did, play more patient than I did, and this should be a very easy fight for you. If you could, I think Archangel would be the best option for this fight. I chose to go with Apocalypse just so I can get that disorient immune, because I think there's another person on the path that places a disorient, but I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, again, normal disclaimer. I'm going to end the video here. If you want to continue to watch the fight, feel free. If not, I'm going to end it now and catch you in the next fight. Alright guys, so here we are at the most annoying fight of the entire gauntlet. This fight wasn't particularly difficult. It doesn't have any insanely difficult nodes or anything like that. It's basically just increased power gain, defensive, and stun immune. Nothing spectacular, anything like that. But for one, I wasn't 100% confident going against Spiderham's animations because I don't fight him very often, and I quit right before he was added last year. So yeah, I wasn't 100% familiar with him, so I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that I had to bring an Apocalypse to get the evade charges so that I would be 100% immune to evade for the Mixmaster Korg. So that was my main focus with this fight, but this fight is so slow. I don't know if maybe it would be better with a different character, but with Apocalypse, excuse me, with Apocalypse it was painstaking. It was I think 35-minute fight or something like that. As you can see here, I used a full team revive and 4 single revives because it was so slow. I was trying to figure out what other character I could use to get this down because I just wanted it over with. But for some reason, when I was going with Ghost, I was messing up the evades on the special one and on the heavy attacks. I would always get clipped at the end, and yeah, I'm not 100% sure why. But the most annoying part of this fight is probably his defensive. As you'll see, there's a lot of times when he's just hopping back, not really doing anything, and it's just like 20 seconds of us dancing trying to get the evade off. The other pointer that I would say is to see if you can put on willpower if you don't already. Because of the power stings and the taunts that he places on you, you're not going to be wanting to use your special attacks, but you'll be healing throughout the entire fight. Characters that are good for this fight are characters with any sort of anti-evade. If you're going for a single clear, you can bring Venom for this fight, and I think he'll do really good. If you're going for 100%, I probably wouldn't recommend Venom, just because he's not that good for many other fights. Maybe 1 or 2 other ones like Spidergwen and yeah, I don't know who else, maybe Killmonger. But yeah, other characters that are good for this are Apocalypse, again, because you can become immune to the evade. Professor X, because you don't have to worry about the evade and you can do a decent amount of damage. Falcon, because you can get rid of the evade. Nick Fury, because you can get rid of the evade. Mole Man. There's a bunch of different characters. You just really have to play really smart, really patient, and don't play into his defensiveness and stuff like that. It's going to be a grind, but again, it's not very difficult. It's just, yeah, play smarter than I did. Save a lot more units. Normal disclaimer, this is going to be sped up. I'm actually probably going to speed this up a little bit more than 2 times, just because, again, this was a 30-minute fight, and I don't want this video to be that long with just boring gameplay. But in any case, I will see you in the next fight. Alright, and here we have Weapon X, which was a fight I was really nervous about, because I think I've only fought him like 2 times before, ever. So I was really nervous, but I figured the only thing I really have to play around is his Unstoppable, which I know you get when he gets to 25 rage, or I think throws a special above 10. So I was just kind of playing around that, but I mainly jumped in with Strife just to see like what the animations were and see if I could build him up. But I don't know what happened there. I got hit while I was invisible, and that really made me panic. So I was like, oh man, I don't know if like he has anti-miss mechanics or something like that I'm not aware of. But then there I saw that he goes unstoppable while he's missing, so I was like, okay man, this is not going very well. Like, I'm not going to be able to ramp up here. It's just not going to go well for me. I'm like 30 hits in and I'm only at 3%. So at this point I think I was just trying to get to a special 3, and I die pretty quick. I think I might actually even just exit out. But yeah, I thought this was going to be an easy fight for Strife to ramp up on, but I greatly underestimated the regeneration. So let's just see what I do with Strife. I'm pretty sure I die immediately after this, because I think my main goal, after I realized I wasn't going to be able to do this, was just to get to that special 3 and just bounce. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here. Yeah, see right here, he's back up to 100%, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Still trying to get those charges, see if it's possible, even if I don't get him to, like, don't solo him at all or anything, to see if I can at least just ramp him up to handle fights later on. Because even though Strife is mainly on the team as a synergy for Apocalypse, I do think that Strife can hold his own, and there are some fights later on that you'll see that he's actually a very viable option. But while this is going through, I'm not sure when I'm going to kill myself. I thought I did it before then, but yeah. If you aren't using Strife because you're better at this game than I am, you can bring in Apocalypse, Archangel, Magneto, Professor X. Again, they're MVPs for this just overall. They can handle his regeneration. They deal a lot of passive damage. They can reduce his ability accuracy, and yeah, they're all way better options than Strife is. As you can see, I did 150 hits, and he's still at basically 100%. So from here, I'm going in with Apocalypse, and then from here, I solo him as Apocalypse. I count this as a solo because I did literally hardly 1% with Strife, but yeah. There I got pretty greedy. I tried to dash in and catch the end of the Unstoppable, but I did it a little bit too early, so I just threw the special attack to gain some distance. So yeah, I probably should have died there, but whatever. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward fight as long as you just play around the Unstoppable and his rage stacks and understand how all of that works. It's a pretty easy fight. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about this fight. I don't think there is. So yeah, if you want to keep watching this fight, it'll be in fast forward. If not, I will see you at the next one. Alright, next up is Thing. Thing is a pretty easy fight. He doesn't really have anything special. If you know how to fight Thing, you'll be able to fight Thing here. All of his normal counters are going to be his normal counters. But you don't need a specific counter for him, so I wouldn't recommend really bringing like a stealth Spidey or Falcon or something like that to handle him. Just fight him with whoever would be most appropriate. I used Apocalypse. I've seen Aegon's take him down. I've seen actually I think it's mostly been either Aegon or Apocalypse that I've seen. But yeah, you can basically bring anybody that has ability accuracy reduction, bleeds to get rid of the rock stacks. But again, it's a fairly normal Thing fight. If you know how to fight Thing, it'll be easy. The only reason I got the one revive is, as you can see here, I just went in. I didn't heal up or anything like that. I didn't take any real precautions. I was just like, alright, I'm just going to throw Apocalypse at him and I'll get him down as much as I can. Then I'll revive and finish him off. And that is exactly what happened. Just managed the rock stacks, and it's a very normal thing. Just be careful of the oscillate node, because if you get him to like a bar of power but he's at like 14 stacks, because of the oscillate, if he's in the fury mode, he might just throw it because he's gonna be a bit more aggressive and can kind of throw you off. But yeah, pretty easy Thing fight. Gonna end it here. If you guys want to keep watching, feel free. If not, I will catch you with the next one. Alright, and here we are at the Korg, which is our second fight of the gauntlet, where you must have an answer for this fight. If not, it is going to be a lot of revives. I had two really good answers for this fight, and actually three really good options for this fight. And I was still messing up because I was, there's just a lot of different things to pay attention to. You have to pay attention to the Gauss stacks or whatever, which increase your block damage taken. You have to think about the flux dispersal, so you have to make sure that you can parry and get off heavy attacks to reset that. And you also have to worry about his normal rock stack. So there's just a lot to... Oh, and the Mixmaster. How can I forget the Mixmaster, which is the hardest part of the node. Yeah, there's just so much to pay attention to in this fight. You need to make sure that you're prepared for it, that you have good counters for it, and really buckle down and pay attention for this fight. Good characters for him are Apocalypse, Professor X, Magneto, Doctor Doom, Ghost, anybody that can deal with the evade mainly, so that you don't have to worry about the Mixmaster, because that is the hardest part of the node in my opinion. And then also somebody that can reliably heavy, which is the big draw for Apocalypse, because you can just parry heavy that way to get the flux dispersal off. However, you do want it to pay attention to when you get the flux dispersals off, because if you do it while he has the rock charges, each one of those hits from your heavy attack is going to consume a rock charge, and you're going to take that recoil damage. So just pay very close attention to that and be very cautious when you throw those, because I think I made that mistake on Apocalypse once or twice, and I might have even done it with Ghost when I tried to throw a special 2, and I ate a bunch of damage for no reason. So just pay attention with this fight. It's one of the harder fights in the gauntlet. I'd probably rank it at like number 3 or so. Yeah, it's just very difficult, but you have to make sure that you bring a counter for this fight. Make sure there's one of, I think, like 4 fights that you need answers for. This is one of them. It's gonna be it for the fight. If you want to keep watching and fast forward, feel free. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, so Dragonman. Dragonman was one of the fights that I was most worried about when I was thinking about doing the 100%. Dragonman is just a kind of hard champion to fight in general, but especially with that power of evolution node, where every time he fills a bar of power, it increases his power gain and his damage and stuff like that. I was really, really, really concerned for this fight. But thankfully Dr. Doom was pretty good for it. You can power control him pretty easily. You just have to make sure that you don't do what I do here, which was fall into your normal rotation of getting to a special 3, because he is stun immune, so you're not going to be able to follow up and drain his power if your special 3 pushes him to a special 3, which is most likely going to be going to happen because of the power of evolution node. So I think I might actually do it here. No, not here, but yeah, just be very careful of that, because he's stun immune, so you can't consume your shocks to heavy him to get that fate seal, and you also can't get the stun off of the level 3. So just keep in mind of that if you are using Doom. You don't have to, but that's who I used and did fairly well. I got him down in 3 revives. Torch is also good for him. Magneto is also a really good option. I've seen Immortal Hulks take him down. I've seen Captain America take him down. The main thing that you want to really worry about is either A, burst damage, or B, power control. Those are the 2 things that you want to look for in a champion for this fight. But no matter who you bring in, you want to make sure that you're baiting special attacks as soon as possible, because if he pushes you, or if he pushes into that special 2, the special 2 is going to do a lot of chip damage, and if he just feels like playing very defensive and doesn't cooperate, he's going to get to the special 3 as he, no, I guess he doesn't get it there. But yeah, if he gets to the special 3, you're just screwed. And it's very likely that he's going to get to the special 3 because of his power gain and that aspect of evolution, or power of evolution, whatever the node is called. But yeah, burst damage, bait specials, power control. 3 main things you have to worry about for this fight. I'm going to stop it here. If you guys want to keep watching, fast forward, same old, I'll see you in the next one. Oh, Black Panther Civil War, my good old friend. This fight was one that I thought would be very easy. It's going to be a very common theme that you see in this video. A lot of the fights that I thought were going to be easy ended up giving me a lot of trouble, and then fights that I thought were going to be insanely difficult were pretty manageable. This one cost me 2 team revives in total because, as you can see there, I either kept forgetting about the armored assault or I would forget about the unstoppable. Again, it's not that it's painfully difficult. It's just, again, there's so many different things to pay attention to that I just kind of lost track and ended up focusing on just the armor ups and then forgot about the unstoppable, or focused in on just the evade and forgot about the unstoppable. As you can see there, when I try and get heavy attacks to refresh my debuffs using Apocalypse, Black Panther Civil War has an ability where he can, I think it's like a 75% chance where he gains unstoppable, and he'll typically retaliate and screw you. That happens to me a bunch in this video because I keep getting greedy and trying to just get away with it because I don't want to lose that damage, but it ends up biting me in the ass. Yeah, the main thing that you want to play around again is that unstoppable that he gets from the Footloose, because most likely you have an anti-evade counter from other fights anyways, but that unstoppable is a huge hindrance. And yeah, that armored assault, just, it catches you off guard if you don't think about it. Characters that are good for this: so Dr. Doom, because you can just keep getting rid of the arc overlords and our armor ups and stuff like that. Apocalypse is really good for it, despite how bad I was playing with him. Because of the concussions, you can reduce his ability accuracy to activate the buffs whenever he does his special attacks. Ghost, because you can intercept him and not worry about the armor ups or the evade. You just kind of have to play around the unstoppable. That's the main thing. Archangel, I don't know if I already said that, but it's Archangel. He's super strong for so many of these fights. Not sure if there's anybody else that stands out to me immediately as another really good option. I think you can probably quake most of these fights, so I'm not even going to mention that. But yeah, it's not too difficult of a fight as long as you pay attention, but you really just want to play around his unstoppable that he gets after casting special attacks, and then the armor ups, because that armored assault will screw you, especially if he has that reflex stance up and there's a bunch of charges. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Same old. Catch you in the next one. Alright, so next up we have Nightcrawler, which I think is the easiest fight in the entire gauntlet. It's basically just a normal Nightcrawler with enhanced evade, so I took this as an opportunity to finish building up Strife. Should be really easy. I don't have to worry about the evades, and I can just pretty safely build him up from here, which will help me in future fights moving forward. I didn't make him a horseman at this point, but I think I also use him for Spidergwen, and then I make him a horseman at there. All of that is completely irrelevant to this fight itself, but I figured why talk about this fight in itself, because again, it's just a normal Nightcrawler basically. Characters that are good for this are anything that's anti-evade, so your Apocalypse, your Ghost, your Professor X, your Strife, your Mole Man, your Nick Fury. If you brought, actually no, Venom wouldn't work yet, but yeah, anybody that can just flat out cancel out evade is going to be really good here. Make sure you don't bring somebody that reduces ability accuracy, like let's say Falcon, to count on that stopping the evade, because you can't reduce his ability accuracy. So yeah, aside from that, very, very, very easy fight. If you guys want to keep watching, yada yada yada, I will see you in the next one. Alright, and here we have Spidergwen. Spidergwen is another very easy fight. The only thing that you have to be careful of is not to parry, because as you can, or as you're about to see here, if you parry, because of her, what is it called, stun opportunity or window of opportunity stun, something like that, it will end just like this. Which is why you always read nodes. I completely forgot that that was on this node. I didn't read it beforehand, and yet cost me a death. I still say that this is probably the second easiest fight in the entire gauntlet. I soloed it because I'm not counting that first death. But yeah, again, same thing that applies to your Nightcrawler applies to this. Use your Apocalypses, your Ghost, your Professor X, your Strife, Mole Man. Anybody who's anti-evade will be able to get through this. However, you also can't reduce her ability accuracy, so no Falcons. The only thing that I would say to be careful of is if you are using an Apocalypse with 4 charges, if you hit into her with the light attack, you can reflect that stun if you get it during that window of opportunity, and you will screw yourself over. So just keep that in mind. As long as you don't parry her, this is a very easy fight. So just bait out these special 1, special 2, and yeah, should be pretty straightforward. If you guys want to see the next one, yada yada yada, fast forward and see you there. next up is Domino, and she is the fight that I think you should hoard all of your potions for because of her super fun and interactive, whatever the critical failure damage. It's pretty stupid. It does a lot of damage, so if you have potions, use them now. Aside from that, it's a pretty straightforward fight. It's just Matador and Power Shield, so bait out of her special ones to give you power as quick as possible, and use whichever characters you have that has the most amount of burst damage. So for me, that was Strife and Apocalypse, but Ghost probably also works. Professor X would do incredible. I'm pretty sure Archangel would probably work, especially because he can get past the Power Shield. Let's see who else. Doom should probably be pretty good. Anybody who just has really strong special attacks, but you have to make sure that you're as much health as possible. So I would say heal up, use health boost, use champion boost, get your health pool as big as possible so that you can survive in the fight as long as possible because of those stupid critical failures. Yeah, cost me 1 team revive, pretty straightforward, but because of the unavoidable damage, it'll probably cost you a revive or 2. But that'll be it. Yada yada yada. See you in the next one. Alright, and now we get to another fight that I was really scared of, this Mojo. Not that Mojo is particularly hard or anything like that. The nodes aren't that special. It just makes it so he guarantees to get his commands off, and also he places staggers. So if you dex at all, even if you're not near him or if he doesn't have the anti-life field or whatever, you're going to get that nullified and it's going to trigger the degen. So the biggest thing that you want to pay attention to with this fight is do not dex at all, because if you do, you're going to eat a lot of degen damage and it's not going to be pretty. The other thing is you want to try and do this as quick as possible, because with each death that you get, you're going to give him a persistent charge. With every persistent charge, he gets more followers or something like that, which interacts with his hater, so he'll put hater buffs on you that he can dispel, and then just start proccing that degen. So the longer or the more fights that you have to revive for him, the harder this fight gets, which is why I was really scared about it. And as you can see there, that degen damage from just one dex getting nullified completely demolished me, and that was with a health boost, 30% health boost and a 30% champion boost, or 20% health boost, sorry. But yeah, that really hurts, so you have to be really careful about it. But characters that can do this are Torch. You can easily one-shot this with Torch. You can easily one-shot this with Archangel, with Gladiator Hulk, with Magneto. You just have to make sure that you don't dex. Magneto might actually not be the best option, because if he does get that stagger off and he staggers your prowess or the anti-life field or something like that is able to get rid of it. It's not going to be pretty, because if also the degen gets through, it's going to do a lot of damage. However, that's like 4 different walls of ability accuracy that it has to get past, but just keep that in mind. It took me 1 revive with Torch. Unfortunately, I didn't play at the top of my game, and as you can see there, I think I ate 2 Dex degens, which brought me down a bunch, but if I played smarter, this easily could have been a one-shot. But yeah, it's going to be it for this video, or for this fight. If you guys want to keep watching, yada yada yada, fast forward. I will see you in the next one. Okay, and here we get to another fight that I thought was going to be completely easy because of Ghost, just ability to convert those poisons into additional damage. I thought this would be super easy, super quick, no questions, no revives, and it actually ended up being kind of a hassle. There's a lot of different debuffs that you're getting, so you can't get to the special 3. Those poisons, even though they're not doing that much damage, if they do stick on you for any prolonged period of time, they really do hurt. If you get that special 2 block damage, that's gonna hurt. The special 1 block damage hurts. All of those little ticks and chips away at your health really start to add up, and I think honestly I was just starting to get in my head a little bit too much. I was starting to fatigue, because at this point I think I had already been playing for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But yeah, it took me 4 revives. This fight is easily soloable with basically anybody that's poison immune. The only thing that you have to be careful of is that he has the hard knock life, I think, so every time you parry, it's going to put a disorient on you. The critical failure also makes it so every time you do a crit, you get a couple random debuffs, which can hinder you. But yeah, you just want to go in with a poison immune that has high damage, so your Ghost, your Immortal Hulk, your Warlock, they're really strong for this. Archangel can just do Archangel things and just completely nuke him down and bypass his abilities with his ability accuracy reduction. And yeah, this was just another fight that I thought would be really easy, that really was not, and I got in my head about it. And yeah, just play smart and it should be easy. It's going to be it for this one. Fast forward, yada yada. See you in the next one. Alright, and here we are at the final path. We are at Apocalypse. This is the final stretch. As you can see, I'm just going through and reading some of the nodes, making sure that I'm prepared for it. These are the fights that I was really scared about. Basically every one of these except Void, I was really panicking about. I'm not good at all at evading Apocalypse's specials. Oh, actually, I haven't even started the path. Yeah, I think at this point I was still trying to figure out if I was going to go for this last path or not. I decided, you know what, let me just grow a pair of balls and keep going. But yeah, all of these fights I was really scared about except for Void. Like I was saying, Apocalypse, I'm not good at evading his specials, especially his special one. I don't understand how people do it. So I was really scared about this fight. But it actually ended up going a bit better than I thought it would. Ghost was a really good option for this fight. I probably could have done a lot better with evading the specials because I think I evaded the first couple, but then I didn't fully evade anyone after that. I kept getting hit by the very last part of the special, and I kept just getting in my head about it. And yeah, it wasn't pretty. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's just a fairly normal Apocalypse fight. I don't think there was anything in particular that was very difficult about it. The only thing is, I think if you start with anybody that's not tech, he might immediately jump to 4 charges. Not 100% sure about that, don't quote me. But yeah, characters that are good for this are Ghost, Warlock if you brought Warlock, Magic so you can power control him, Professor X, Magneto. He is still a metal champion, so even though Magneto's a mutant, he's still a fairly good option for this. Professor X, again, he's a mutant, so you don't typically want to bring mutants into Apocalypse, but Professor X can do a lot of damage in a little bit of time, so that's, I think, the reasoning for why he would be so good at Apocalypse. Again, I'm just going off of videos that I've seen and like charts and stuff that I've seen, so take that with a grain of salt, but I think he'd still be really good for it. But yeah, I think at this point I'm doing a pretty good pace. I'm only at 1600 or 1700 units roughly to get to the last path, which is about what I was expecting for this overall. I think I was budgeting for roughly like 2500 units for the entire thing. I thought that's what I would be able to get it to, but yeah, so far I'm doing a pretty decent pace. And I'm going to stop rambling at this point. If you guys want to keep watching, feel free. If not, it's going to be in fast forward. I will see you in the next fight. Bye. Alright, and here we have Sasquatch, which was the opposite problem of all of the other fights that I've had so far. This was the fight I was probably most scared of, because this is a fight where you need an answer. You need to answer his anti-healing. You have to know how to play around the flux dispersal. You have to know how his Wrath of Tanarak and stuff like that works, or the life cycle, not the, what was the other thing I said? The flux dispersal. But yeah, I was really scared about this fight. This is mainly the main reason that I brought in Torch. That's why I was kind of not really using Torch. I only used him for Mojo and for this, because I wanted him to be as healthy as possible, and I tried to keep the charges for him so that I can go in and use the Nova Flames, because the Nova Flames can bypass the debuff reduction from the life cycle. And yeah, Torch does not go well. I think I end up dying fairly soon here. I think I end up pushing him to a special 3 because of the power snack. But yeah, I was really scared about this fight, and I actually ended up, after Torch dies, I just do, I think, the remaining 70% or whatever with Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a really, really good option, because the way that Sasquatch's healing works, I think, is every hit you do while he's under 40% has a chance to trigger a healing that heals like 5% of his missing health per 10 seconds, and I think you can stack up to 3 of them. So the healing is insanely potent, but because of Apocalypse and the way that he works, you can put the concussions, so you can reduce the chance at applying those. He also has a bunch of debuffs as part of his kit, so you, with Despair, you can mitigate that healing a bunch, so if it does proc, it's going to be healing for a lot less. But also with the Strife synergy, every time that you use a special, you're going to increase the damage of your next special, which you can see really, really comes in handy here. This one is down to the wire, but again, this is the one that I was most scared of the entire gauntlet. I think this is probably the hardest fight, which is ironic because it was one of the few fights that I basically soloed. And yeah, this is a must answer fight. This is another one of those 3 or 4 fights that you must have an answer for this fight, because if you come in and you're not ready to deal with that anti-healing or with that healing, and you don't have a way to stop it or control it at all, it's just, this is going to be nearly impossible to do, because I don't know if there's any character in the game that can out damage the healing at this level. But yeah, if you want to see the fight, it's if I do say so, it's pretty impressive on my part. But yeah, gonna fast forward the rest, and I will see you in the next one. Next up, we got Killmonger, and this was another fight I was pretty scared of, but this is the fight where I started using Strife, where he was one of the reasons why I brought him in for this Killmonger, and he did way, way, way better than I thought he would do. I got him down in... technically I did a team revive, but I think I only used Strife, so I think I got him like 60% down in this life, and then I finished him off with Strife the next go. If you're wondering why I'm not taking any bleed damage, it's because I have the Horseman ability, so I don't take damage from bleeds. Yeah, at this point he's basically fully ramped up, and you are going to be seeing some pretty crazy damage. As you can see, even non-crits between the initial hit and the burst damage from my heavy attack, I think I do like 13,000. My mediums there, you can see, are 3,000, and yeah, it's just pretty crazy damage. Strife is a kind of sleeper powerhouse. I think if there was a way that I could ramp him up early on, he could probably be a pretty hard carry for most of this content, to be honest. His special 2 hits like a frickin' truck. He has anti-evade, like reflect damage, like his reverberation. You can ignore that with his mediums and his heavy attack. He is just a super strong character. Really like him. His ramp up is pretty annoying, but as you can see, when you do ramp him up, man, is it worth it. But yeah, this was another fight I was really scared of, but thankfully Strife handled it. Characters that are good for him are Archangel, Namor, Magic. Again, just make sure you, if he doesn't have power, reverberation, you don't really have to worry about it. The only thing is I'm not sure how Magic is able to gain power, so I'm actually not sure if that's a good... I'm not sure if that's a good recommendation for this. I probably should have taken that off. But yeah, any character that can deal dots so that you can gain power to use specials, or has a way to deal with the reflect damage from his reverberation, is going to be really good for this. I still think the top 3 are Archangel, Namor, and Strife. You could also use like a Gambit. Yeah, anybody who has anti-thorns damage. But it's going to be it for this. Let's just speed through the rest of this, and I will see you at the next fight, because we are almost at the end. Alright, here we are at the finish line, only 3 fights left, and this void was probably the second fight right behind MODOK that I thought would be one of the easiest fights in all of the gauntlet, and boy was I wrong. I figured, hey, you know, the weaknesses will probably fall off pretty quickly. If I just do like 2-hit combos, I'll be able to do this no problem. But as you can see, it's just really hard to manage all of the debuffs while also managing your own power. And if you have any special attacks that kind of just end up close to them, like I do here, it's just going to be a bad time because you're going to get that debuff and it's going to do crazy amounts of damage. So this fight, I would say, is probably worth bringing a counter to. Counters would be characters that either do insane amounts of special attack damage or can shrug off debuffs. So for the insane amounts of damage, Strife ramped up, Archangel, Professor X, Ghost, if you can properly manage the weakness. It's a bit tricky. It can be done because I think I do it on one of my runs, but yeah, I just started panicking, and again, the fatigue was sitting in because I think at this point I was like 2.5 hours in. If you're gonna go with the debuff shrug, characters like Mole Man, characters like Kingpin, they're going to be really, really strong. But yeah, this was just the second big fight that just really threw me for a loop. I was not prepared for how annoying this fight would end up being. Got through it in 2 team revives, but it was no walk in the park, that's for sure. Alright, that's going to be it for this fight. I'm going to fast forward through the rest. If you want to watch and see how much I screw up, feel free. If not, we're going to do the final fight before Thanos coming up next. here we are at the final fight before Thanos. This was another fight that I was really scared of, but ended up living to the hype. It was a pretty difficult fight. It actually was a lot easier than I thought it would be, but I make a lot of really bad mistakes. As you can see here, I was not expecting the Lionheart to trigger that quickly. Not sure how it did, but if you are running despair, I would recommend to move it or remove it if you're using any characters that might be able to maybe accidentally stop that healing or do a heal block or something like that. Actually, I'm not sure if heal block stops it, but I know for sure reversing does. But yeah, if you're going to try and stop that regen, just don't. Just power through it. It's not that potent of a regen, and it is a very potent degen if you get that Lionheart on you. So characters that are really good for this fight are basically any high damage dealing mutants. So your Professor X, your Namor, Apocalypse, Strife. Just because mutants get less attack charges on him, so you have to worry about the unblockable less. Bait the special 2 as much as possible, because if you have to block that special 1, he's probably just going to chain them because of the kinetic transference. If you get to, or when you get to the life model decoy and you get to a second life, you can either try to exit out when the health is low. I'm not sure if that still works. I haven't tried in a while. But if you don't, then just kind of run away when he gets to that second life and try to let the degen do its job, get him down to the 30%, and then just fight like normal from there. Just keep in mind that he's going to get double tactical charges, so if you're using someone that's not a mutant, he's very easily going to get to that unblockable phase, especially if he gets to the special 1. But yeah, pretty scary fight, but it's not a fight that you have to bring like an answer to. It's not that type of fight. You can use anybody here, but there are certain characters that are stronger than others. Just gotta pay attention and play around the tag charges really. But yep, that's gonna be it for Nick, and on to the final fight, the Nameless Thanos. Alright, and here we are, the final fight, Nameless Thanos. And I'm gonna be honest, I love this fight. I think this character is so well designed. This fight is so well designed. My two favorite fights in the game are this and Grandmaster. Basically, the way that he works is he has 3 different phases, one from 95 to 65%, one from 65 to 30%, and then one under 30%. At each one of those phases, he's going to activate a different Infinity Stone, which has a different effect. The first stone is, I think it's right up there, the Evolution Stone. The Evolution Stone, basically what that means is you don't want to hit into him while it's active, because if you do, you're going to take a, like, reflect bleed damage. I don't think it's actually going to be a bleed. I think it's going to be, like, burst bleed damage, so you can't ghost it, as well as you're going to get auto-blocked, and he's going to heal. So basically, you just have to wait it out and hit him in that brief interval before he gets to the special one again. For me, the way that I really work through this is I think through Strife. Strife put in a bunch of work for this Thanos. Just burst him down through each of the phases and you should be good. Ghost is a really good option for this fight just overall, because as you can see, she gets very easy intercepts, and yeah, she's just insanely good for this fight. Other characters that are good are Captain America Infinity War, Archangel, Professor X, Strife, as I said. The good thing is any character can do this. Literally any character in the game can do this fight. It's just going to be a matter of how fast you want to do it. So as you can see here, he has those 2 charges because of the Evolution Stone. So I just want to back off, make sure that I'm not hitting him while that's up, and then try and hitting him in that interval where it's charging. There, I messed up. It didn't go too well, but again, I got greedy trying to get that special 2. A lot of the times where I got greedy on this event just did not go well. So as always, my normal response is just be smart and be patient. Don't try and get the big dick damage or anything like that just to get like a cool thumbnail or a cool screenshot for your friends. Just play smart, play patient, and as you can see here, just waiting out, not hitting into him because you don't want that auto block and that regen, and then attacking in now in that brief window where everything is on cooldown. Another tip is you can hold block to get the AI to try and play more aggressive and attack into you, and then intercept them that way in between the special attacks to try and get him to use it. But yeah, the big part for this is just to make sure that you read the stones, read the stones, read the effects, read the thresholds, learn the animations. It might take you a couple revives to get used to it, but YouTube is your friend. Go there, watch your favorite YouTubers do this fight, look up the fight just to be familiar with the animations. It's a lot of fun, just gotta be patient. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is what I told you. I'm trying to hold the heavy attack to get him to attack into me and then intercept him. I got it once there, but fucked up at the end there. Now I end up going in with Strife, and this is where I see Strife's true potential. So here he's automatically going to start in this last phase. So again, I'm just going to wait it out, and then I'm going to parry him. And then right here, you're going to start seeing some of the crazy damage. Look at that damage. Look at how high that is. Holding block, bait out the heavy, so he doesn't throw his special attacks, and then intercept him. Just keep rinsing and repeating that as much as you can. Wait it out, and then the special 2 is going to do insane amounts of damage. There, I was trying to test what kind of like reverberation damage you get, whether it's an active bleed or not, but yeah. Push him to the second phase, and yeah, this phase here, it's kind of annoying. Basically, you can't hit him when he has that evade charge, because if you do, you're gonna get stunned. He also degens 80% of your health after the special attack. You immediately heal it up after, I think, like 10 seconds, but for a couple seconds you're just continually dying. So if you eat a hit accidentally, you're just going to get screwed. Here, you have to avoid the big balls. So as you can see there, for each of those streams of 3 balls, only one of them is going to be real. You know which one is real because it's glowing and it's bigger, and that's the one that you have to evade. The position of them isn't the same ever. It's not always going to be like the first ball is real in the first section and then the second ball is real in the second section. No, there's 3 balls in each of the 2 sections, and it can be any one of those 3. So you just have to pay attention there. Pretty easy though. Here again, I'm just trying to hold block, get him to dash in so I can punish him, use my special attacks and whatnot, evade that one, and I could have went back in there, but I didn't want to risk getting intercepted when I was almost at my special 2, because a lot of damage comes off of this. And yeah, block the big one, there you go, get the big one, start degenning, just make sure I don't get hit, and then regen it all right back up. Rinse and repeat. It's a pretty easy fight. This is a very easy phase. You just have to really pay attention to where the big balls are and avoid the big balls. Nobody likes big balls, and yeah, I think here we might get to the next phase after the special attack. I'm pretty sure we do at least. Oh, no, not yet. So again, just rinsing and repeating, trying to get him that last 2% down so that I can finally get to this last phase. And as you can see, he gains passive power here. He doesn't gain it as you hit into him, so that's another thing you can keep tabs of. You can play pretty aggressively if you want to backdraft him, just because of that. Excuse me, sorry, that is so rude. But yeah, he's not going to cast special attacks aside from what his stone is. So the first phase is always going to be the special 1, the second phase is always going to be the special 2, and the third phase is always going to be the special 3. Probably should have stated that at the beginning, but yeah, just forgot. So here we are at the final stage, and the way that this works is any contact that he has is going to instant kill you. It's just going to. He's also always going to get to a special 3. Now you can get through this because of the node and the way that it works. So if you intercept him in this last phase, you get an indestructible charge for special attacks, which allows you to do what I'm about to do. Oh, actually not here. Oh, that's why. For, I think Avengers, it's 10% that it will block, and then anybody who's not an Avenger, it does like maybe 40% or something like that. I know there's some sort of interaction with being an Avenger, but yeah, if you intercept, you should get like a pseudo indestructible charge, which will allow you to eat a special 3, and then you can keep going. So basically you just have to make sure you get that intercept, do as much damage, eat the special 3, and then rinse and repeat. Really, really good for this section is Ghost, because again, she can just get the intercepts when they miss, so you don't ever have to worry about that death touch, because even if they hit into your block, if he parries, it's gonna be an instant KO from any physical contact. So there we go here. Yeah, I think I ate like 25% there. So it has to. Sorry about the yawning. Jesus Christ, it's like 2:30 a.m. here, so that's my excuse, but I still probably should edit that out, but not sure how to do that at this point because this is one continuous voice recording. But yeah, Ghost is super good for this. Professor X again is really good for this. Archangel is really good for this, and as you're about to see, Strife is also really good for this again because his special 2 damage is just absolutely insane. But yeah, I'm just gonna let the rest of this fight play out. I'm not going to speed it up this time, just if you guys want to watch, feel free to keep watching. If you don't, that is a-okay with me as well. As always, thank you guys for all of the likes, for all of your support, for all of the dislikes and your critiques, all of the comments, all of the subscribes, everything that you guys are doing. I really appreciate all the support. It really does mean the entire world to me. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Appreciate everything you guys do, but I'm out. I love you guys. Be safe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.